Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Galactic War. Nope. It's time for Syntax Live, isn't it? That's right. It is time. It is that time of day. It is the same bat time, same bat channel that we are here every week for your entertainment and to get your suggestions, your ideas, and hey, maybe we could actually get something working out. Not to mention, and let you know what's going on to make sure you're informed because that is what we're here for. Now, I got my notes. I got my drink. I hope you guys have one too. So pop a top and let's get to it. First things first, I didn't get to do my shout outs. I kind of screwed up a little bit. And later on, I'm going to get into that. So, but for right now, I did want to send out a thanks to the sir. I don't know if he's on right now. And I can't believe he's actually calling me. Hold on, my nephew's on there. Somebody better be dying. What do you want? I wonder if he's watching. Anyway, sorry about that, folks. So anyway, don't worry. To the sir, you sent me a little bit. You will get a shout out at the end of one of the videos. So also, I wanted to go over. Now, you guys seem to like the last story that just came out with the Titan class warships. The very first story I ever did with a Titan class warship. And the reason I did that one wasn't just because somebody wanted to suggest it, but it was the fact that I thought about it and I was like, wait a minute, I pick on Star Wars a lot. What else did they get wrong? When they called the Death Star a space station, it's not a space station. Because it's mobile, it's a Titan class warship. That's actually the difference between the two. The only real difference between a space station and a Titan class is Titan class can move, normally moves. Now, if you got a space station like they did in Deep Space Nine that moves a grand total of one time, that's not a Titan class warship. That is a space station. It is meant to be static. It's not meant to move. So in case there's any confusion on that, I just want to make sure everybody understood. That's where the line is, the delineating line. If it is the size of a planetoid and it is free to move, it is a Titan class ship. Whether or not it's a warship, a transport, that's up to you guys. And of course, me when I write the stories. Hang on a sec. Let me adjust that. It's a little crooked. So also, everybody has been hitting me up. Oh, you want sequels to the new stories? Well, sequels depend on views, folks. And it seems like somehow I've been getting shadow banned. I don't know why, but lately I've just been getting shadow banned the shit out of me. So it's now starting to seem like the shadow ban's kind of going away like a fart in the wind. So good to know. With the view count going up, sequels will be done. I wasn't expecting to do sequels on the whole basically everything's a trap story, which, by the way, one of you suggested, and I thank you very much because it went over a whole lot better than I thought it would. It was actually really good. But yes, there can be a sequel. Since you guys requested it, I'm putting it in the pipe. It's in there. I'm not showing you the list of stuff I got because some of you would get pissed off. I want this one. I can only do so many at a time, folks. I literally am running out of time. Actually, tonight's story, which is going out, which is right here, which is one of your suggestions, by the way, or I should say requests. That the audio is not even done on that. I've been so busy today. I just finished scripting it. It's not even that long of a story, unfortunately, because I didn't have a lot of time. It is what it is, folks. It is what it is. All right. Where was I? But yes, view count has been going up. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I do appreciate that. Now, I wanted to get on because a lot of people like this one. You got on my case about not using shields. Some people like shields. Some people are glad I don't use them. I personally don't like it, but I wanted to make a point by taking all the different points. Not only was a request to show human redundant shields, and if you didn't catch, that's what was going on. They're like, oh, we busted through the shields. We got them. Wait, there's another one? Oh, shit. Okay, we got through the second one. Crap, there's a third, primary, secondary, tertiary. It's always that way. Not to mention, all the flak is a shield, all the counter battery is a shield, all the torpedo versus torpedo is a shield. Everything's a shield, which is why even in today's military, defense rings king right now, especially out on the ocean. It is absolutely crazy how much anti whatever you can put up in the air. Those guys are nuts. Whoever designed it, they wanted to keep their boats alive for as long as possible, and they're succeeding. It's crazy how many missiles those things carry. It's kind of spooky. Anyway, let's see. So anyway, that was the whole point with a layered defense. You know, back in the day, it was known as a castle defense. Then it was known as the laxist defense. And now by today's terminology, it's a hippity hoppy, get the fuck off my property. You know, but it is human shields. When we get up in the space, we're not going to screw around. We're going to have a bunch of it. Why? We don't like people fucking with our boats. And okay, nice one, Cody. You actually got that, came in just as I was saying that. You knew where I was going. All right, on to the next one. Don't have a lot of notes tonight. Actually, again, I get most of my notes off you guys' comment section. So anybody there, if you have anything that's confusing at all, I will gladly clear it up on a live stream. I got no problems at all with that. I will gladly do so. I need to know, because I wrote down last week, it's all right here. Last week, my notes from all that, all you guys' suggestions. And I need to know which one of you recommended the human shields. I actually had it written down as redundant human shields. I need to know who did that so I can give you guys the credit that you deserve. I also need to know who did and let me phrase it right here as I put it. It's always a trap. Now, I kind of did a story like that, but I still wrote it down. And I just need to know who actually recommended that one. If you remember who, put it in the comment section. I screwed up and I accidentally deleted the comment section when I closed the stream, so I couldn't look back on that. I also need to know who recommended the battleship cook. Okay, I know you guys are out there. I know you're listening. So I need to know who it is so I can give you guys the props you deserve. Okay, I give credit where credit's due. I always have. I always will. That is not going to change. However, my note taking needs to get a little better. Okay. Before I jump into the next section here, which actually surprised me when I started racking my brain about it. Rage, you did the cook? Okay, I just saw that. Okay. Sorry, guys, I got to write this down before I screw it up again. Some Tekkaman full of rage. I'm wondering if, Rage, you are a cook. No wonder you'd rage out. Anyways, if you guys have any comments, suggestions, or if you know something I missed, please put it in the comment section so I can make better content for you. That is the point of the live stream. I am here for you to answer your questions and to make sure that everything is copacetic and I can get you the best, so you're not sitting there going, man, this guy sucks, because I actually lost a couple subscribers for some reason. Don't ask me how. Maybe they just haven't been on the channel long enough. It automatically did. But remember what I said about the shadow ban. Anyways, give me a sec here. Don't worry, it's not vodka. Well, not yet anyway. I was looking into the old science fictions. I want to know which ones actually held up the test of time. Now, a lot of science fantasy, you kind of have to give that a wave off. It's done. Forget it. It doesn't fly. It never did fly. It was fun to watch, but it didn't actually fly. That being said, I still put the Trekkie tracks in science fantasy. However, before you kill me in the comment section, I will say that whoever did casting for a lot of these shows did an excellent job. because some of these actors did such a good job. Holy flying donkey shits. They did so well. You don't believe me? Watch how, just go on YouTube and look, Quark solves war with economics. It's such a good scene. You can't help it. And any scene in that god awful show with the spy guy who was a tailor, what was it? Garrick, I think. Yeah, Garrick. He's just really good. You can't help but enjoy the characters. So again, my hat's off to that. Now, I was looking into BattleTech actually, and I wondered how could this possibly work with today's technology? Well, it suddenly hit me like a brick in the nutsack. It works because guess what? If they're trying to invade the planet, what's the very first thing you do? You take out the satellite network. You shut off communications. You blind them because you don't want them to see you. You don't want them to be able to guide munitions. You need a line of sight to actually get anything. So it's already starting to work. And if you think, oh, I'm just going to ride a battleship in, you really think people aren't going to have land-based weapons aimed right there, ready to, I don't know, give you a good old-fashioned enema? I mean, they're going to fuck you up before you as you're starting to get past the horizon, just poking up, and all of a sudden, psh, it's going to just eat your face off. It's going to be going, oh, is that the sun coming up? That's not the sun. Ah, why is my face melting? Ah, I'm melting. Now, don't get me wrong. There are differences. You're still going to be able to basically launch cluster munitions, but still at that distance, you're going to have a lot of radar systems catching it on the way in. Not to mention any air-based systems that are high enough to see over the horizon. They see that stuff coming in. You're already going to have counter batteries firing. So again, to my surprise, it held the test of time. Because if you're trying to invade a planet and you're trying to actually take the planet, you need to take large swaths of land with incredibly high amount of firepower. Now, if you're able to pull the whole, I'm at lunar orbit, but I can still hit the surface of the planet with something that makes a Zarbomba look like a matchstick, yeah, forget it. We're talking Warhammer 40K at that point, which I'm sorry, already friggin' kicked itself in the nuts. I'm like, no, if you lose consistency, you lose everything. Which is why you got to be careful with my stories. I make sure there's a difference between each one. I try to set them in separate universes, and if there's overlap, I'm just sorry because it's so many. There's going to be. Regardless, that one held up. I tried to look at things like Doctor Who, and I'm just like, was a fun ride until they got to a certain point, and then I'm just sitting there like, what? And just no, I'm like, seriously, the guy has a sonic screwdriver that apparently is a MacGuffin that does everything. Nothing to say if you enjoy it, enjoy it. I'm just saying it doesn't hold up. For its time, it was really good. Now, things like a few folks are into Dungeons and Dragons. You can't screw that up. You'd have to try to screw that up. Now, to say I may or may not be using some fantasy characters, maybe. I don't know. You guys like that last line? What are we looking for? And I remember that somebody was supposed to send me something about dragons and space flight and crystals on their tails and whatnot. So, okay. Again, not a lot of notes tonight. So, I'm not kidding. That's the limit of my notes that I had for tonight because I take them off the comment section. Anyways, since that's the end of said notes here, I'm going to be going through here. Oh, it's not very far. Okay, we got our normal ones here. We got demons here. Rage is here. I know you guys are here. Demon. Oh, he didn't oversleep for once. Don't worry about missing the weeks. With the time change, it's a real pain in the dick. Rage saying hi. We got the Sir saying Good morning, Syntax. Or hi there, Syntax. Hi there to you. War Sniper. I hear Titan class. Yeah. Planetoid-sized spacecraft, which is difficult to even consider. Just make sure it's mobile. Let's see. War Sniper says, I need to overtype my story from laptop to PC because my work. Okay. Didn't let me see it, but not work with it. So yeah, I think a few days. Okay. I've been looking. I still haven't seen it. Read this before. Don't touch the boats. Yep. America. Their boats get hit. America. My boats. Yeah. I mean, that's why the U.S. Navy was made. I thought when I first heard that, and this was years ago, I was like, that can't be true. Guy actually pulled it up. He had a actual physical copy because cell phones were flip phones at that point. I know, hard to think about that now, right? And he actually pulled, and I read the first couple lines. I was like, holy fuck. Are you kidding? What? I had to read it again. I didn't know it. I couldn't believe what I was reading. Let's see. Cody said, touching our boats is just like shooting at Doc, pretty much. So, it was until a certain something that happened. Let's just say Liberty took a beating in 1978. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I try not to get into politics, folks, but I mean, after that, honestly, missiles should have been flying at that point. Anyway, so that happened. Yep. And Rage, like I said, I got you down. For some reason, I got an F here instead of a T. I'm gonna fix that. Big T. Okay. The cook was you. There you are. Demon says, I know I talked about redundant shields. Can't remember others. I'm normally pretty good at that. Okay. That was probably you then. I'm going to put you down here. If anybody else, make sure you guys put in because, again, I want to give you guys your credit. You know, it's thanks to this channel actually being up for over a year. We actually have a decent following. And again, I read the suggestions all the time. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to me, and I'm just like, huh? Make sure if you're going to put something in, you make sure it's something that if I haven't looked in a while, I would know what you're referencing. Okay. War Sniper Gaming. He's doing this. Let's see. Technoman Rage. One of my many skills. Oh, yeah. As a cook, right? Yep. Demon says, oh, yeah, that's right, Rage. I do remember the cook thing coming from you. Okay. Confirmation. Let's see. The cook thing also reminds me of the Pearl Harbor movie. Yeah. That one, honestly, that was a major black eye for the U.S. Navy right there. When that came out, that some douche nozzles actually showed up against orders, mind you, and actually took his paperwork from him so he could not wear the medal that he had earned. Wow. People wanted blood. And I was like, okay, who is now just gone on the beat on site list? War Sniper in here laughing his butt off. Ava saying, boop. Oh, wait. For Ava, that's boop right on top of your head. We all remember. We have an Ava. She's waving hi. Good morning. Jan's here. Morning. Ava just stopped by to say hi. Good luck. I'll have fun. Okay. Kobe Becker saying carpet bombing from orbit. You can do that provided something is not shooting back up at you. I say, because case in point, and we're going to go back to history on this. Vietnam War. I actually have someone in my family who was on the bombers. I believe he was either a pilot or a co-pilot. And they would fly up, and they're up at like 35,000 or 35,000 feet. And they would just go to coordinates, drop their payload and go away. Because at the time, nothing could reach up that high to face them. Even if they did, they just hit their countermeasures, and those SAMs were so bad at that point, they would just spin out and not know what the hell they're talking about. They burn their fuel and then plummet back down. So if nothing can actually hit you, sure, by all means, you can glass a planet. I mean, if you're not trying to secure said planet, and that's the difference. That right there is the difference. If all you're trying to do is kill something and you do not care about the planet, planetary bombardments work. However, if you're trying to take the planet, why in the hell are you trying to destroy an entire continent? Because you know what happens when you put up that much dust? It's like blowing the Yellowstone supervolcano, folks. The planet itself is pretty much unusable for probably a decade or two. And what's the point? By then, if you wait and come back, it's already going to be resettled and you got to do it over again. So carpet bombing, again, like the man says, only call artillery if you want to kill everything. Kobe's also, oh, should we call Duck Dodgers in the 29th and a half century? Actually, Cody, I don't know how old you are, but that one just might have went right over your head. That's an old Daffy Duck thing. War Sniper says, oh, my group did screw it up. Don't worry about it. That was me about the crap. Okay, yep. Let's which one was that? Was that shields? No, that was traps. Okay. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna put that on here with the dragon thing. Okay. Dragon and the whole soul stone thing. Don't worry, I have it written down there. I just didn't write down who wrote it. All right, so anyways, where was I? Okay, I was up here. People are jumping in, which is good. I'd rather actually be fighting the chat box than nobody coming in. You got to finish your dragon thing for Sin, buddy. Haha, yeah. Demon says, for the shield story, I wasn't sure if they were redundant or had really fast recharge rate, or if they just were flickering and the enemy couldn't tell the difference from breaking and flickering. That was actually the point of that. It was vague for a reason. They couldn't figure it out. Now, I can tell you straight up, it was actually meant to be redundant. By the time they busted through the second and third shields, the first one had cooled off, recharged, and was already set. And they just, it was like on Star Horse there with that Mon Squid cruiser there, where all the shields are just interlaced so much that it's so hard to kill the damn thing. I mean, it's just crazy. And it's a strategy that works. It's called turtling. Anybody who's played a RTS game knows what turtling is. You build your base where nothing can get in, and then you build up your force and you strike out like a turtle trying to just snap out and catch a fish. That's turtling right there. But yeah, either way, they didn't get through. Now, the kicker is the ballistics could get through, but they were facing reactive armor. The thing is, in space, yeah, you just adjust your thrusters and you thrust vector away. I mean, it's zero gravity. Why not? Okay. Yep. If the ground to air is down. Yep. Yeah, definitely on that. Even, again, in Battletech, they had what they would call warship class lasers. And they only put it in one cinematic, and it actually halted or almost completely halted an invasion because it was able to pick off one ship at a time. The only thing is, in their universe, those weapons need to be constantly cooled. If your cooling system isn't 100%, you can only fire that thing like once every like 30 minutes. But it is devastating if it hits you. Let's see. War Sniper. I know, but I only need to type out the elements and abilities the main character can use, and also have a I have a picture of one character that will come in the story. One problem, she doesn't have clothes on. You can send me the photo. If I end up using it, I will block her out. No, I'm not going to get banned on YouTube for some cartoon jigglypoofs. That being said, if I know what the character looks like, it's a lot easier for me to help if I need to add anything to the story itself. But remember, just like I'm sure you guys remember the ones, it was like warning, humans will screw anything. And I had to actually put the warning sign, a big black square of some guy piping down an alien. You know what he's doing, but you can't actually see any parts. Don't worry, I know how to fix that. Lee's here. How late am I? Not very. 20 minutes, maybe. And we'll see how long we go. Demon says, but I definitely have no answer now. Oh, hold on. But I definitely have no answer now. They are redundant. I'm happy you used my suggestion, but didn't expect you to because you're not a shield person. But hey, no, it's not that I'm a shield person or not a shield person. Shields work. However, in most science fictions, they're overused. They're like, put shields up, and you think saying that notion means you have a shield that stops everything. It doesn't work that way. Can you have an energy-based shield that is going to deflect ballistic anything? Yes. Is that going to do fuck all to any energy? Barely, because you're looking at a magnetic repulsor is what you're actually looking at. And something that powerful is basically an energy weapon in and of itself. It can be used both ways, just like the 5-inch deck gun on any of the frigates and destroyers. I mean, can it be used for offense? Sure, but its primary is a defensive weapon. I like how you put in the end, but hey, tanks. I had a little drink and got tanked. Actually, that was supposed to be in one of those stories, and I was just like, you know what? It's been done too much. But yes, just like I've mentioned this enough times, with Star Wars in particular, they say the ray shields, and yes, I will call it that forever. They are meant to compartmentalize and stop physical things from moving through, in particular air and bodies. And they are so dense with electrons that you can actually see them. You can physically see them. That's why those laser dildos can't cut through them, is because they're basically two big pieces of energy beating the crap out of each other. And there's not enough energy on either side to short them both out. Because if you shorted one, the backlash of energy coming through would take that friggin' laser dildo and blow it up in your hand. Then you're out of laser dildo and your fingers. Now what the hell are you going to do? So, I mean, shit. At least they got a little bit right on that. But it's just the way they use the shields. It just... Okay. Kobe saying the Duck Dodgers hit me square in the chest. What, did he come up and slap you with a freaking webbed foot? What the hell, man? I'm just kidding. Okay, War Sniper. Didn't find any art of her with clothes. Sadly, are you okay with me sending that pictures and how the Dragon MC looks? Oh, yeah. It's fine. Even in here, I remembered to put the extra, what I call the description edition, and the emails in there. I still have neglected to get an actual physical address, but it is what it is. Okay. Demon saying, yep, you missed by about 10 minutes. I know you missed last week, Demon. No one's holding anything against you. Not a big deal. Say, oh, a random thing. My job finally gave me my winter gear now that winter's over. Oh, shit. Isn't that the way it goes? Isn't that just the way it goes with the winter gear? I mean, seriously, all you can do is go and get one of those big tough boxes. I suggest those on wheels with the handle that extends. They're just easier to use. and store all your winter gear. Take a big piece of masking tape, put it on top if you don't have a label maker, and actually write what's in there and just push it off in a corner and don't worry about it. If you're worried about any mold or anything like that, take a couple of those oxygen absorbers, the heat pads, the chemical heaters, throw them in there, close that sucker. They suck up all the oxygen. That's what they do. It's kind of a prepper's trick I picked up a long time ago. And I was like, you know what? That's genius. I'll never use it, but that's genius. Not to mention, I not only took the survival class, I ended up teaching survival classes. Speaking of which, now that winter's over, guys, make sure you hydrate. The last thing we need is you end up getting a really bad headache like I did a few days ago from my own problems because I forgot to drink too much. And by the way, whiskey, vodka, beer, those are not hydrating. I know you think they do, but they don't. Let's see. Gamer also says, it's good to know because the picture is pure to describe the character. Okay, yeah. In this case, like they say, picture is 1,000 words. They're not joking. Let's see. Rage. Hydrate. Caffeinate. Me. Okay. I drink way too much coffee as it is. Now, sometimes I had like 3 cups today and I was just about shaking. War Sniper, and I still got a big headache. Well, someone's telling you to take meds on that one. Fun. So anyways, it is springtime, folks, and I'll be doing more of the kind of spring-based stories, and I like to put them out when the actual timing is right. I will let you know, and this is just a heads up, on Memorial Day in particular, there is going to be a video that I'm going to post. It is going to be very different from anything else I've posted. If that one reaches you, grabs you by the heart, like it should, and kind of gives it a quick squeeze, then by all means share it. And even folks who don't usually listen to HFY or something like that, then they'll appreciate it. Okay, but that's just a special one coming up. Speaking of specials, I still haven't heard anything about the fucking shirts, and it's starting to piss me off. Either I'll be heading there tomorrow or the day after, and I'm going to go in and go, where the hell are my shirts? They haven't sent me any messages. They haven't called me. All I know is they took my money, and I know they didn't take my money and run because it's a brick and mortar building, and I have the receipts. They're sitting right there. So unless they want to pay me back the hundreds of bucks I spent on it, they can freaking give me my freaking what I paid for. Okay. Demon says, oh yeah, last week you brought up using a demon pick when mentioning me in the video. I saw that and it was cool. Thanks, man. As for the YouTube profile pick I'm using now, I've been using it since 2009, and I no longer have the original. That's why I didn't change it. Yeah, well, I can see it right there. Well, barely. It's a little succubi. Little succubus. I find it interesting that they put suck in that title, but hey, why not? At least they put the wings in the right spot. Everybody thinks Overlord is where they started doing that in the right spot. No, people have been putting the wings in the right spot for a long time. It's just most people didn't think about it. It's just because women carry their weight lower. That's it. We have broader shoulders. Most of our weight's up higher. Big deal. But anyway, don't get me wrong. The girl on Overlord, I'm sure, aside from when she goes completely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, she would be very attractive. Although I would actually add one character to that story, and it would be my healer from the Isekai, where he meets the succubus's twin sister. She's all fucked up in the face, but she's really nice. He would actually fix her so she's all pretty and stuff and be really nice. Something to piss off the succubus having competition. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay. Cody here. Be wild if human ships were built with a stationary inner hull while the outer turtle hull rotates the volleys downrange, like a heavy battle cruiser class assault boat formation killer. If FTLs, okay, inside the opposite battle group. Yeah, kind of did that already. That was actually human battleships. This is one of the first ones, and that actually started the whole rotating the ship itself. I did that actually before I realized they did that in the Expanse. But yeah, you would rotate the ship specifically to let the weapons cool or rearm or fix them or whatever, and then you come over. That's actually a standard thing. Also, in one of the other stories, and I'm trying to remember which one, it was chapters long, the assault carrier was one of the few times I ever used carriers, because a lot of actual fighter carriers in space don't make a lot of sense. That being said, this was meant to invade planets. What they did, let me use my phone here for reference, is they came in, planets down here. On the ventral side, they had drop pods. And on the port and starboard side was all shuttlecraft and missile base and all that sort of fun stuff. So they sent the drop pods on both sides, out come the shuttles, and then they literally flip the ship upside down. Guess what's on the dorsal side? A bunch of drop pods. So the second wave actually drops out. And that's the thing. A lot of people forget in space, and that's why I like hard science fiction, is there's no up. If you want down, get a goose. I mean, that's that's just it. But yeah, you could rotate it, but if you're working with hard science fiction, there is a major issue with that. Is the fact that while one part rotates, the other part's going to be pushed the other direction. Unless you have some sort of gravimetric stabilizer or some sort of thruster or something to hold that other piece in place. It's the same thing when you have a huge turret on top of a fighter craft. Big turret on the fighter craft, as they turn to engage the enemy, it's going to move the craft the other way, which means you got to turn faster, which means it's going to turn shut. It's fighting itself the whole time. You have to have some sort of counterbalance. I mean, good idea for science fantasy or something like that would work great. Would work awesome, Cody. Would be, yeah. But again, unless you have some sort of stabilizer, it's not going to work. As far as jumping inside the opposing battle groups, I kind of did that in a bunch of them, especially with human turrets. And I swear to God, one guy said that he was trying to do shots every time I said turrets. He didn't get 2 minutes before he said, nope, he's done. But it was kind of a joke, as I wanted to see how many times I could squeeze the word turrets in there, because I was taking a cue off a really bad movie. But in any case, yeah, you got to knock the formation apart so you can jump inside, and then all your weapons can go, howdy, boys, bang, 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 bang. Let's see, where was I? Let's see. Demon says, yes, YouTube would definitely be mad if I used a succubus. Considering I'm a man, a regular demon works for me, buddy. Oh, so you're an incubus. Got it. Hey, you get yours, man. You get yours. Cody Bag says, my bad. I gotta look deeper into the archive. Don't hurt yourself too much. You'd be amazed how many things I started and I had to throw away because they turned out didn't actually pass the sniff test. Don't get caught. Don't get caught, guys. You know what happens when you get caught. Anyways, sorry. Dirty jokes, guys. I had to get a few in there. But in any case, yeah, you gotta, for hard science fiction, you gotta have at least a tenuous grasp on your physics. even your basic physics. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, which is emphasized more when you're in a zero gravity environment. Now, a lot of this stuff, again, with science fantasy is just waved away. I mean, case in point, Babylon 5, which I enjoy the shit out of that series. But if you put humans inside a centrifugal beer can like that, we would last a couple of days before we're just puking up a storm and launching blood out our buttholes. I mean, it's not good. We're doing a different type of centrifugal force on this rock. It's actually in reverse. For us to be, spinning like that and just using that as to hold, it just our squishy little innards would try to become our squishy little outers pretty quick. It's kind of messed up. I actually was listening to actual astronauts talk about this, and they're just like, yeah, no, you feel seasick as hell for a while, and you calm down a little bit, and then the major symptoms start coming in, which is why the ISS doesn't have centrifugal gravity. Anyways, War Sniper saying, hell dive! Zoom. You better watch it, Ava. Guess what? They're going to start dropping on your head. Let's see. Demon says, I was wondering, normally you can't fire weapons as you're exiting slip space, warp, hyperspace, whatever FTL you were using, because the ships are transferring power from the jump and all the sensors and stuff. That depends on what universe you're using and what type of drive. For the most part, yes. If you're trying to rip a hole through subspace, if you're trying to use like a fold system, which is quite literally folding space-time, then yes, you're going to be just using a whole bunch of power. That being said, the whole idea of not being able to fire when you're going through warp, which is basically just moving really fast, to me was stupid. Hyperspace, if you're depending on where you are, the actual hyperspace lane may have its own physics, which may preclude you from actually firing. That depends on what franchise you're talking about. There are some where they have absolutely no problem firing an FTL in hyperspace. Other ones, you just can't. Like Babylon 5, they had a hyperspace, and you could fire from, as soon as you had the aperture open, you could fire through that son of a bitch. If you want, you just open the aperture, fire like hell, close it, and bolt before anybody knows what the hell's going on. By the time they get there to open an aperture, you're gone. You're doing basically anybody who does that is from Chicago, and just quick drive-by basically, which is one of the reasons why if you put Trek versus the Babylon universe, Trek is fucked. They're beyond screwed. It's not even close. And we're just talking about human versus human on that. It's crazy, the difference in that. That being said, it really depends. It really does. A lot of times they don't use weapons at that speed for one simple reason: plot. It's just there. It is what it is. And when they did that with the Trek in particular, that was to give plot armor to the actual ships themselves, because they're like, well, they're going really fast, but the enemy's right on their tail. Why doesn't the enemy shoot? Because you can't fire in warp speed. Yeah, bullshit. The thing is, once you actually destroy something at warp speed, it'll never slow down until it hits something. Fun. War Sniper says, yes, the butterfly effect, my favorite. Yeah. Ugh. Butterfly effect has friggin' kicked me in the nutsack a few times. None of those times was fun. Okay, Demon. Oh. Okay, and I don't know if this is extension. Adjusting to... Okay, so it is. Okay, FTL. It's okay. I might have jumped ahead, Demon, as you were putting these in. Transferring power, jump engines and stuff are adjusting to the new era. But if you had a predetermined spot and a temporary power source separate from the ship that only powers the main weapon of the ship, could you fire as soon as you can? Yes, 100,000 million fucking percent yes. I actually put that in one of my stories. The ambush predators in particular is because they were able to jump in and they could fire instantly because they had 2 separate power cores. And it was there in particular. It was there for that reason. Now, if you're coming out of a different type of space and you're trying to actually be stealthy, good fucking luck, because the power burst that's going to come out of that, you're going to notice it's like wearing night vision and somebody pops a flare. I mean, believe me, that hurts a lot. I mean, a cigarette cherry looks like a flare when you're wearing night vision. So you can imagine how fast you can get glared out with a freaking actual flare. But yes, you are correct, Demon, 100%. You could easily just transfer that other power into your weapon systems and light them the fuck up. Cody says BSG was pretty close to real physics at points. Oh god damn, Battlestar Galactica, I'm assuming on that, but hold on, this is gonna take a second. Battlestar Galactica used real physics when it worked best for them. There's a lot of things they did that just don't work there. Okay, the magnetic catapults. First off, why? You have friggin' 3 gigantic thrusters right behind your head, basically shoved up your butt. What the hell do you need to be launched out with a catapult for? Not to mention, at the speeds they're saying they accelerated at, it would take your body and go right up to the back of the seat. You'd be nothing but jelly. All right. Then you have somehow they have artificial gravity everywhere inside the ship, but there's no way of doing it outside said ship, which makes no sense to me at all. Firing ballistic cannons, and yet there's no shuttering of the ship at all when those things fire. And you're in a zero gravity environment. Remember what I said about physics. The force of those giant fucking guns with something that's not constantly firing friggin' thrusters in the opposite direction would be enough to take everybody off their feet every single time they fire, and they're rapid firing those motherfuckers. It's literally cyclic rate firing those damn cannons. Again, they use physics when it worked for them. When they had the inverted landing zone, which, by the way, made absolutely no sense. Why are you trying to land like a fighter in atmosphere when you were in space? You literally had to go in and it would clamp you instantly. Once you cut your engines, there's nothing holding you. You're going to come to a stop so fast, your friggin' guts are going to go through your sternum and then snap back in. It's literally going to make your asshole go into your stomach and then back out again. Then again, I've seen the way some of those characters are, and maybe they're already loosened up for something like that. I mean, seriously, I can't watch Battlestar Galactica because of its lack of consistency. Babylon 5, I give it a little pass because it was severely under budget for what was there. That being said, a lot of times I'm sitting there going, no, you dumbasses. But it is what it is. Okay. Rage is here. Driving already. Ha. Okay. Demon. Oh, gee. You put a whole bunch in here. Okay. Fire as soon as you can. See the ship returning to normal space. Since most sci-fi factions can't do that, it would be one hell of a game changer. Absolutely. Which is why, again, they had the whole... I forget what channel it did on YouTube. They actually went Trek versus Babylon 5, Federation humans only versus Earth government from Babylon 5. Who would win? It wasn't even freaking close. The thing is, the guy is biased as all hell. He's got a Trek boner so bad. He gives them so much leeway. I'm like, dude, as much as I don't like Trek, I know in a straight up one-on-one ship fight between, say, the Enterprise A through Z or whatever the fuck they got, compared to any ship in Babylon 5, guess what? The Babylon 5 ship is beyond screwed. Because guess what? That thing can jump into speeds that they can't track. It can fire in any direction with pinpoint accuracy. It's got a whole bunch of weapon systems that supposedly can track them, even though nose to nose. It can't fire all their torpedoes and actually freaking hit anything because the interceptors are designed specifically to intercept that. But it wouldn't matter if the front of your ship is being fucked in the nose by a whole bunch of these phase cannons. So again, you would have to use different tactics. But don't forget, in the Babylon 5 universe, when you do the numbers, you have so many military ships. If you just open that aperture and everybody comes out, guns fucking blazing, I don't care if your shields are up or not. You're going to get pummeled into the freaking asteroid belt, and they're just going to keep slamming you up the ass until you freaking break. You're done. You're done. You're done. And even if all you did was try and zip around trying to pick off anything, they're just going to jump in right next to your freaking planet and just start blasting away at everything. I mean, hell, even on Babylon 5, they did that when they ended the Centauri homeworld. They showed up and they just started shooting. And they ended like half of the planet before anybody could say anything or do anything. So, let's see. Viper Squad is here. Says, nice stories. Have any villain aliens in your stories ever considered upright, down, down, down? Oh, you mean up, up, down, down, left, right, BA start? Would be nice. War Sniper said, he's going to drop a 500 kilogram bomb. Yeah. I could. Anyways, War Sniper said, to me, in the last story, what Doomsday did the Titan class? What Doomsday? Oh, Doomsday weapon did the Dreadnought class? It's straight up energy weapon. That's why I mentioned that it was glowing. And because it was a broad spectrum weapon, it cut right through the formation. Anything got caught up in it, just literally cooked. And that's why it was atomized. It literally cooked it down to its atomic level. That beam is probably still going. I mean, eventually beams will open up to the point where they're pretty much nothing. But is what it is. But yes, that is what it was a big-ass energy weapon. Let's see. Cody is saying, okay, that hurt, by the way. Remind me not to do that again. Demon says, I'm going to go really far away from that, Viper. Yeah. I don't know why. Janot, behind the lines, Navy SEALs in your universe story. Behind the lines, I might not use the SEALs. I've actually worked with the SEALs before. I was not really impressed by what I saw. Let's see. Behind lines. I'm going to use Spec Ops. And that's Jan. Yeah. You're going to make me say that, aren't you, by the way? If I get a chance to write now, I got a lot of things lined up that need to get done. So when I get to that, Jan, if I end up having to say your last name, I'm probably only going to put a Jan up on the screen because I am not going to put that second part up on the screen. I will get kicked off of YouTube, and you know I will. But an interesting idea behind the lines. I kind of already did that, but I can do it, everyone. With the one, it's so quiet. There must be humans around. Yeah, it's actually humans are so quiet, which was actually brought up because of in World War I, the Germans in 1917, I think it was, they were scared shitless of the Americans attacking because of one reason. And this is straight out of one of the officers' diaries. He said, when the French attack, they sing. And that was just to keep their lines and keep morale going. They sang as they moved up. When the British attacked, they chanted. Again, just to keep their lines and to keep morale. But when the Americans attacked, they didn't say a fucking word. So you had no idea how close they were in it. That scared the crap out of them. So that was the idea why humans are just so quiet. Which is why in every single, I think there's 3 chapters to that one. Every time one of their own alien buddies tries to say anything, it's literally right across the face. Shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Or just looking at them. Don't you talk. Let's see. Demon says, sorry it was so long of a chat. YouTube only gave me so many characters to work. That's fine. It's no problem. It's my fault for not realizing it was still coming in. But I mean, YouTube does that. It is what it is. Cody, that explains the rubber suits of BSG. I won't say anymore. Probably because they kept shitting themselves. Oh, jeez. Oh, that's funny. Now I just remember that joke about Batman is a grown man in a rubber suit running around with a young boy who's sliding the proverbial bat pole now. Demon says, I really need to watch Babylon 5. Really? You never watched Babylon 5? Take it with a grain of salt because, again, it was, I believe, early 90s when that came out, early to mid 90s. So it's a lot of the CGI is dated all to hell. And you'll see that a lot of the set designs are really, how do I put this? It kind of mixes 80s schlock in with trying to make it look more military. You'll see what I mean when you watch it. But it's really interesting to see the actual screens are still tube televisions. And it's just like, really? But I mean, it is what it is. Technology. I mean, cell phones hadn't even come out at that point. Let's see. War Snipers. So it was like the doomsday of the Avatar, Amar Empire, and EVE Online. You used a picture. And well, more or less, yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to remember exactly what. Yeah. Yep. It just hit me. So yeah, it was. I mean, the whole ship was basically a giant energy weapon, and basically pointed that way and waved goodbye to that half of the universe. So Cody says, I second that sin about the seals. Yeah, a lot of I hate to say it, guys, but in my experience, and I was in for 20 years, I have very rarely seen any what's considered special forces impress me at all. At all. And the thing is, Rangers think they're special forces. They're not. They're shock troopers, and that's all they are, and that's all they're ever going to be. If you want to be Rangerific, stay in Ranger Regiment, please. Don't poison the rest of us. You know, if you're a SEAL, you go do SEAL things, okay? Because whatever the hell you're doing with us, you're not impressing. Honestly, I still don't know what the hell they were doing. All we know is we joked about it. Every time we dropped them off, it was Operation Semen Insertion. And when we picked them up, it was Operation Semen Extraction. Take that as you will with that. But aside from that, we're like, whatever, you're off doing whatever you do. And they were just like, you would literally walk past the doorway to where they were. And they're like, what are you doing here? I went to the latrine to take a shit. Well, you should go around. This is a SEAL area. Dude, go fuck yourself. What did you say? I said, I am currently armed with a round in the chamber. You want me to take the safety off, dipshit? And then of course, they come talk to your chaining command. Get them under control. Dude, shut the fuck up. We're all on the same team. You can be, I feel better about myself. But you want to be a freaking douchebag, you can do it somewhere else. And I've dealt with so many scouts are one of them. Oh, dear God. It's crazy. Okay, that's enough about that one. Okay, Leonid is here. Why sci-fi fleet have dreadnoughts? Those ships started modern battleships in the Marine Navy. Okay, the Dreadnought class is its own class for one simple reason. It is not just a battleship. A Dreadnought class is between the size of a battleship and a planetoid, which is what a Titan is. But Dreadnoughts are basically a self-contained system themselves. Not only that, they have the ability to repair other ships, usually by bringing them inside it. Okay, that giant flying B-2 bomber they had from the Star Wars movie, that was actually designed to repair the other battleships. The other Star Destroyers would actually go inside of it, fix it. The thing was totally self-contained. It also had some really, really, really big guns, much bigger than what we would consider a battleship, because they're not practical for actual space combat. They're more attuned to firing once or twice to dismantle a fleet or to obliterate a planet, or at least part of it. That's what they're there for, which is why one of the fan-made ones, you actually had what was basically the size of a battleship, but it had a actual mega weapon on the front. It was designed to do that, to do massive damage. That can be considered a dreadnought because it was an extremely large purpose-built ship. Think of like a frigate, but extremely upsized. And but yeah, that's why they have dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts are the backbone because one, they hit like a freaking Mack truck doing Mach 5. And two, they're there as more often as a flagship, but also as a mobile station so that they can actually keep that fleet moving. Now, normally a dreadnought should be powerful enough and durable enough to take on a battle group without any problems. Taking on an entire fleet, that might be a little different. And we're talking just size ratios at that point. Demon says 1994 according to Google. Babylon 5, yep. Let's see. Demon also says, I grew up on 90s sci-fi, lol, so that won't bother me still. Okay, good. Very good. Cody says, Babylon 5 is the best for me. Have it on DVD. It was ahead of its time. It was very much ahead of its time. It just didn't have the budget that the Treks had. I kind of wish it did. It would have made a better series. Jen says, Babylon have real depth and real depth and overriding structure in the story. Yes, it does. Actually, if you go back and watch it, something that's actually said in the very first episode plays in like season 5. It's crazy. That thing was so well thought out. It's actually scary a little bit. And the thing is, there's actually scenes in there that you can actually play into what's going on today. And you can show that to younger folks, and they will have a better understanding of why people, especially in politics and the reporters and stuff, do what they do. And is that blonde chick from Earth, when she's like, oh, we don't have homeless. We have a few misplaced people, but blah, blah. She just starts saying you have to redefine what a term actually means. Why? If a term can easily be redefined, what the fuck is the point of the term in the first place? And you could tell that the guy just wanted to scream that in the woman's face. But if you watch every single time she's there, there is a progression of her character from let's just be friendly with our manipulation all the way to one militant bitch. And I got to give the writers a lot of props on designing her to do that. And I give the actress props for being able to pull all the sections off pretty much seamlessly. War Sniper said, oh, yes, a group of Marines in their natural habitat, seeing them swim. Okay. Better than this guy in my natural habitat. a pickup truck. Anyways. Let's see. Demon says Stargate, Star Trek, Star Wars, Starship Troopers, Farscape. Has a second I thought you were going to say Star something else. Andromeda, Battlestar. I'm sure there are more. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I love sci-fi, still do. So I'm sure I'll like Babylon 5. Yep. I wasn't a big fan of Farscape. To me, it was a little too fantastical. I was working way too much when Andromeda was there. I, again, was never a fan of Battlestar because I kind of liked it when I was a kid, the original, when it had Face Man on there. But the new one, again, they don't keep the consistency with the actual tech, and it screws me up. Star Wars, you guys know how I feel about that, and Trek and Stargate. Honestly, it tropes itself to death. The only thing that makes that one worth watching is the guy who used to play MacGyver. He had fun with that, and they joked around a lot. Oh man, they just had fun, and it came out in the characters, and that's what made that show tolerable, or I should say palatable. Let's see. War Sniper game. Supremacy was the name of the Super Star Destroyer. One of them, yeah. That was, if I remember correctly, that was Vader's personal ship, the Supremacy, where he also had Vader's. It was supposed to be Vader's first, but somehow it became Vader's fist. I don't know how that came out to be. Oh, wait, that's right. Disney. Let's see. Eclipse was the one with the Death Star laser on it. Okay. See, I didn't know that. I honestly did not know that at all. That's actually where they got the idea of attaching one of those giant ass lasers onto every single one of their battleships for that final movie, which honestly I didn't go and watch because I had zero interest in it. Even my nephew, who you guys seen before, wanted to go see that movie, and I can't stomach them anymore. I mean, seriously, every time I see that chick with her hair all slicked back, all I think is, lady, you're so imperial. Your head looks like the Death Star. It's so spherical. It's just crazy. I'm starting to think the lasers are going to come out of her eyes, just kind of. Let's see. Leonid. Like in the Kelvin timeline of Star Trek, they had a dreadnought in the third and okay. See, I'm not a huge Trek fan, so I wouldn't know that. Cody Baker, there is talk about a reboot of B5, new cast. Most are pushing Daisy. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. The guy who played Jakar, he was the first one to keel over. The girl who played Delenn, she still has the same body shape. She could actually play, if it was an extension of the story, she could still play Delenn without any problems at all. The guy who played Lanier, something happened. I think he had a health concern. He looks like shit. I hope he gets healthy. Maybe he's doing better. I don't know. I haven't seen any of that in a couple of years. But the one who played Lando Malari, I'm pretty sure he's gone, but I'm not sure about that. But yeah, I don't think they should reboot the series. I think they should remaster the first one. I think they should update all the CGI, and I think that would make it a whole lot better. And honestly, if they remastered all the CGI and they just re-release the series, episode by episode, I'd watch it. I mean, honestly, I'd probably just get the whole box, or not the box set, but I'd binge watch the whole thing. I don't care how many hours. Let's see. Ernest is here. Checking in. Keep up the good work. I will. And everybody here is giving me good stuff to go by. I got some extra stuff. And by the way, I'm still waiting for you guys to let me know who was the one who suggested all the human traps. It's always a trap. I don't know if you guys remember on that, because I got everybody else. That's the one I'm missing right now. I didn't write them down. So, no, Vader's supreme sucky destroyer was the executor. I almost said executioner. Executor. I thought that was just what they called them. Executor Star Destroyer. Maybe. But okay, good to know. Supremacy was the SD where the Star Destroyer docked on the wings and the rebel ship was okay. Docked on the wings of the rebel ship in warp. Huh? Okay, I'm either reading this wrong or it wasn't spelled out right, Sniper. I just let's see. Japanese style. I can't write Japanese style. I know a couple of words, but that's about it. The only reason I know that is because I worked with the Japanese. You should have seen the look on their faces as we run by, and I'm like, Hayako, Hayako, Hayako. And they're like, did he just tell us to hurry? I'm like, and then one of our guys who could actually speak, he actually said, move, asshole, in Japanese. They got up and moved. Okay. Alternate carbon, good series. Yeah, I saw part of that. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it kind of was I don't know. It was if you didn't catch it in the very first episode to find out what was going on, you'd be lost in the sauce. Holy crap. There was so much detail on that. I think they could have been a little better, but then again, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I think when they continued with a few of the extras on there, I think they went over the top. Okay. Demon says, what's your thought on the Independence Day movies? Love the first one. Didn't mind the second one, but it wasn't my favorite either. Okay. Independence Day movies. As far as the actual invasion goes, them actually sending out ships like that and then expecting us to sit there and do nothing while they hover over a city was just absolutely ridiculous. We should have actually been landing folks on top of that sucker before anything. And then we would have known there's a shield and we would have been like, okay, something's wrong. If they're here in peace, why in a flying fucknuts are they having a shield up? Why are they in defensive mode? And why they didn't just, keep the shield on and just go plonk. Oh, we killed a city. Go to the next city. Plonk. Oh, we killed another city. Why do we got to shoot this giant beam laser out of what looks like a sphincter? It for its time, it wasn't bad. The whole thing is it took a little too much from H.G. Wells because the whole idea of instead of a biological virus that kills off the aliens, we gave them a computer virus. Hitting the nail too much on the head there, But for its time, it wasn't bad. I mean, it was an enjoyable movie. The second one, as soon as I saw a ship about half the size of our planet dock with the planet and the planet itself wasn't pulled into a different orbit, I sat there and went, nope, 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 nope. You know what that didn't pass? The sniff test. It did not pass at all. I'm like, serious thing. The thing is big enough to have its own gravity. Gravity's strong enough to pull things from a larger body, mind you. And no. I mean, did they get a few things right? Yes. Now there's weapons on the outside of the ship when they're trying to get in. Okay. Our fighters now have shields. Okay. But a lot of that just, I'm sitting there like, what? It just, they tried too hard with the second one. The first one was just enjoyable. It was something nobody's seen. Everybody at the time was all about destruction and stuff like that. And the CGI was what they were looking for. So I enjoyed the first one. The second one, you would probably have to either get me very, very drunk or pay me to watch. There's like one or two good scenes in the entire thing, and that does not make a good movie. just like the Terminator movie where he grabs Connor by the throat, holds him up, and kind of gets pissed off. And he's like, "Beta, you were just fucking with me." Anger. What's the line? Anger is better than despair, or something like that. Or anger is more useful than despair. That's what the line is. A great scene, a great line. It's still a shit movie. Let's see. War Sniper saying the rebel ship warped in the supremacy kamikaze style. Yeah. The thing is, because of that, a lot of the fans were pissed off because, in actuality, and this is I got this from somebody who was a Star Wars encyclopedia. Apparently, FTL weapons were a fairly common thing, which is why a lot of the battleships were looked at as a waste, because you send one of these about the size of like one of their bombers at light speed, you're talking about something in relative terms, you're talking about spending about $500, basically taking a used car, sending it in warp speed to take out a $20 million building. How does that make any freaking sense to have such a big open area or something that you can take out? That can be taken out so easily, which is why battleships are not used as much anymore, because they can be taken out by fighters. But that has to do with range. Well, guess what? Now we have hypersonic missiles, which are kind of doing the same thing. So, yeah. But the thing is, what they did is they took real science, physics, inertia, and they attached it to science fantasy. No, those two don't mix at all. They just don't. What you got was an amalgamation of what the fuckery. I mean, it's bad enough. What the hell was her name again? That tall chick. Admiral Eggplant, whatever the fuck her name was. Seriously, if I had a command like that, I would have shot her. Just what the fuck? Okay. War Sniper says, like the Japanese did with their planes ramming themselves in the U.S. in their boats. Yeah, the idea, it was a good idea. In practice, it doesn't work for several different factors. One, you got to hit it in the right spot. Two, they thought our doctrine was the same as theirs, that if the ship caught fire enough, they would just abandon ship before it exploded. No, our damage control teams were so well trained that most of our ships that were hit by a kamikaze took care of the immediate danger and were still underway and still in the fight. For a kamikaze to do its job, it would have had to go in, say, here's the boat on the water, and it would have had to come in and hit it right on the water line, really close to the bow. If it did that, then not only would it blow a hole, but the inertia of the boat going forward would basically be throwing water in, increasing the amount of pressure, and just might, be able to disable the ship. The only other way to actually take it is to get it right on the stern. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the ship would have to take it in the stern and get the engine to explode. Well, the way our engines were designed, they wouldn't blow like that. They're steam powered. All you would do is get this burst of energy that goes straight out through the top, and it just goes in this huge steam cloud, and everyone's going to be like, well, I can't hear anymore, but I'm alive. And hold on, let's fix a couple of pipes and we're on our way again. Now, if they were able to ram those planes in at basically speeds of eclipsing Mach 1, then you would do some unbelievably deep damage. I mean, just scary bad. Now, there was an anime who did this. They actually had a kamikaze pilot. He was piloting a actual honest to God rocket with some little bitty wings on the side, just enough control surface where he could actually pilot the aircraft, if you want to call it. That would have worked because he was moving so fast that they just could not shoot him down, and he could line up his shot just enough and kablooey, and that would have worked. Lena said, is there a limitation on what type of ships can be equipped with hyperdrive and the ones who fly on impulse power only? That is all dependent on your universe, the universe that you create. Now, for things like the Star Wars, for a time, they were supposed to be like, oh, well, it has to be a certain size. Well, they decided to say, screw it, and put them all in the little fighters for the actual hyperdrive. The hyperdrive used to be really big. Like in the Halo universe, their FTL engine is the size of a 53-foot trailer. I mean, it's just this huge piece of machinery. You can't put that in a fighter. It just doesn't work. That being said, again, it depends on the universe. It really, really does. And what level of technology you're giving who. Leonid also says, I don't know. I think Battleship can take out an aircraft carrier if they could get close enough. That right there is the key. That right there is the absolute key. Is an aircraft carrier, because of the range of the aircraft, has a range of several hundred miles as far as striking. A battleship has a maximum range of about anywhere from 25 to 30. And they're still shooting over the horizon at that point. They're literally shooting blind. And they say just a tiniest little blip of the top of the mast over there. And they're like, oh, I can hit that. Did I hit it? Well, just let's wait like 30 seconds for the round to hit. But yeah, that's the key right there. And that is why fighter combat in space is absolute lunacy. Because for you to actually use a fighter the way we expect them to in space, is you're going to get torn to pieces by their chaff and their point defense cannons. They're just going to tear you to tiny, tiny little pieces and stomp on what's left. And then they'll get nasty. All right. But the reason being is they can see you coming. With fighter aircraft, especially back in World War II, it was difficult to know exactly where and when somebody was coming, because unless they were bombers flying away really, really high, if they stayed close to the waves, by the time you realized it was coming in, that attack was already getting ready to drop on your face. Now, if you can use terrain in space, like, I don't know, an asteroid field, like Saturn's rings or something like that, anything like that, something that will allow you to get close, preferably undetected, stealth fields would work. The kicker is you start firing it with a stealth field. Most stealth field generators will send off and make basically a dead zone in space, and that dead zone is moving. Well, guess what? They're going to target the center of that dead zone, and they're just going to light it up like a fucking Christmas tree. And yeah, you're screwed. The best you got is to cover your ship with some sort of anti-reflective material. But even then, you fire your boosters once, they're going to pick up your heat corona. It is what it is. Let's see. War Sniper, look at the Yamamoto. It almost killed off a U.S. Terrier task force in World War. Yep. Taffy 3 carrier group, if I remember. But the thing is, those were escort carriers. They were small. They were very small. They didn't even carry half the complement of a standard aircraft carrier. If I remember correctly, there was 3 of them. There was also a half a dozen destroyer escorts and maybe 2 or 3 frigates. And that was it. That was it. And you know what? I'm sure you remember, War Sniper. The Yamamoto got its ass handed. They literally said, here's your ass. Oh, by the way, you're a coral reef now as we blow the front off your fucking ship. Because a couple of these, especially one of the escort carriers, wasn't the Eldridge, I'm trying to remember which one it was, went in and give them a good old-fashioned American fuck you. Said, damn the torpedoes. They chased the splashes every time there was an impact. They turned the bow towards that because the other ship would adjust fire and then fire to where they think they were going to go, and which worked really well because they had to get closer because our torpedoes back in the day sucked so bad. And yeah, they took out the. Actually, I'm not sure the Yamato was taken out about that, or it was the her sister ship. One of them was done, and they also got Japan's biggest heavy cruiser was taken down. That thing almost split in half, and the Americans lost what, one ship was a total loss, and one or two others were hit, and that was it. So yeah, and it's actually amazing when you get those guys on the flat tops. You would be astounded how fast they can get planes in the air. I thought it would take them like 5-10 minutes to get one bird up. Bullshit. If those pilots are already in those birds, they will be pumping them out every like 45 seconds if they're up in the air. It's just crazy how fast they can work. And they can do it safely without catching anybody, right in a turbine or anything like that. Let's see. Whoa, okay, jump in here. War Sniper says, I think 4 to 6 and 4 to 6, I'm guessing carriers, and 4 destroyers, I think. I'd have to relook it up. I do know they were all, it was just a leftover force. They were there more along the lines just to rest. They weren't meant to be a frontline force. Sweden and Germany, you sink my aircraft carrier. I'm not sure what that's about, but okay. Leonid, it's possible a field of asteroids or space dust could prevent spaceships firing laser beams at each other. Yes, if you have some sort of terrain to work with, absolutely. Absolutely. That being said, any commander worth a dog shit is going to have some sort of screening force out and their weapons aimed towards that area just in case, especially if it's an active combat zone. And they're going to make sure they try to keep far enough away where by the time you pull a jack in the box and pop up straight to fire anything, they're going to target you. You might get your missiles off, but they're going to be fucking your face up with every weapon at their disposal. A lot of people, I mean, we grew up watching that stuff. We grew up watching Babylon 5 with their Star Furies, which is one of the only good designs for a space fighter ever. We watched the X-Wings. We watched, the Vipers. We watched all these space fights with all these little snub fighters that somehow fly like there's an atmosphere. There's the ether. There's no atmosphere. It's not the same thing. It doesn't work that way. So even in Leonid, all you got to do is look at The Expanse. They did a really good job. Now, did they do a few things for plot? Yes, they do, which I think is a little ridiculous. That being said, they do an excellent job at showing how space combat would actually be. They play a little bit loose with the rules, but they, for the most part, stick with it. Let's see. Isaac says the U.S. lost one destroyer escort and one double D destroyer. I'm not sure what the actual D is for. God damn it. Oh, my brain just died on me. War Sniper game, the Musashi. Okay, that's the one it was. It's a sister ship and the Shenanigans. Okay. Hey, what's the name of that restaurant you like again? You mean Shenanigans? Anyways, yeah, quoting a bad movie. Okay. NATO training. Oh, God help you. Actually, I was able to send somebody to Sweden for NATO training. That was fun. Let's see. Demon says Yamato and Musashi were the two sister battleships. Yep. With the biggest guns ever of any battleships, and they were dual cannons, and they were scary big, but they were not they were designed by bureaucrats, not ship designers. I'm sorry. If your ship is designed to be 150 tons, don't strap on a bunch of armor and expect it to move the same way. Idiots. Oh, CVL got nailed. Okay. I didn't know there was any over. I must have missed that. Oh, War Sniper. Shinano was the sister hull, but built as a. Okay, yeah. They did do that. They did alter some of their ships midway. They needed carriers. They were getting their asses kicked pretty bad. War Sniper's calling for a demon. Okay. Demon says, I thought the Vipers in BSG did a good job showing fighters in space using thrusters in the nose to help them turn on a dime. The new one does do that. Okay. But again, they will take some rules and ignore others. And it just, you're trying to figure out which one they're following by, because they will play fast and loose with those. Because if you are a midship, when that nose cannon goes off and it turns at that speed, you didn't just turn like this. No. You were actually swung like somebody took something in your hand and swung it really fast. And if you do that in one quick motion, you'll feel the blood in your hand push forward. You keep doing that, whipping back and forth and up and down and left and right and spinning around and going up, down and up your own ass. The body can't take that. It's too much inertia. You're going to literally crush yourself inside there. Again, they play fast and loose with the rules on that. Do I appreciate them putting that in? Absolutely. 100%. The closer they get to hard science fiction, the better. But they kind of miss a few things on that. Just like when they eject their inside suits and just inside a chair. Nobody ejects that way in space. The whole module's going to lift off. Like in Babylon 5, they grabbed the top ejection and the whole thing shot out. They're actually in a pod. You're not going to just be in a suit. That's suicide. But then again, like I said, I do appreciate them doing that with the Vipers. I really do. Okay, War Sniper still don't like that a sub sank her while she was already. Oh, yeah. Well, that's a submarine's job. I mean, it is. Yeah, we know what you mean, U-boat. We know sub means a different word nowadays. You guys are creepy. All right. But yeah, I mean, look at the, I'm trying to remember. It was basically called, if you translate, it was called Phoenix. It was a really short name too. It was the biggest carrier they had. And one of our subs literally shot her in the ass, blew open the fuel tanks for the, for all the jet or the propeller or that for the aircraft fuel, flooded the whole area with vapor. And then one spark is all it took. And the entire ship literally blew apart. I mean, all the survivors said that it was just this huge fireball from ass end to bow, and it literally blew open. I'm like, that's messed up. That's beyond messed up. And why'd they do that? Because they did not have good damage control. If they knew damage control, they would have said, screw this. They would have sealed off the area as best they could, sent in people with some sort of air, some oxygen, so they could actually seal up all the fuel tanks. And then they would have pumped out whatever they had to pump out. You know, if you lose fuel, you lose fuel. It's either you lose fuel or you lose the ship. You know, it's not Sophie's choice here. If it means you can only run one sortie instead of two, okay. Yeah, the thing is, for Sniper, when it comes to the subs, they're like any other scavenger at that point. They will get anything, and I mean anything that is weak or injured, and they will pick it off. I know you didn't mean it like that. Oh, Chris is here. Hello, all. Been looking for a while. Love the stories. Well, thank you, Chris. And Chris, since you've been lurking for a while, and I'm sure you already know this, but if you have any comments, concerns, or anything, by all means, put them in the section here and we will get to them. If you want to add to the conversation, you are welcome to do so. War sniper. Oh, anglerfish. Oh, or are you talking argfish? I'm not even sure what you're talking about. Okay. Or the one that killed the Taiho. Yeah. Oh, the Taiho got picked off too. The thing is, with what they didn't understand back then is that a carrier is a big target. It is a very big target, which is why it's actually standard when you have a carrier battle group, you'll actually see the ships around them. If they even think for a moment that there might be a sub in the area, they're going to ping all the way out because they do not want that thing being even touched. Now, nowadays, would we have to worry about anybody else's flat tops? Probably not. The only country I know of that has a working flat top that's really good is Japan. They're not supposed to have aircraft carriers. They have it as a transport frigate. Yeah, okay. Bullshit. It's a helicopter carrier. I don't care. I think the whole restriction on their munitions should be removed. They've been, it's been 80 years. We're good. Okay. They shouldn't have to be restricted on what they can and can't get. I would say for max 50 years for that sort of thing. But if we went toe to toe with China's god awful piece of garbage that they call a friggin' aircraft carrier, it's laughable, guys. It's seriously laughable. It's just yikes. I mean, the thing, as soon as they got underway, a huge crack right down the center of the ship itself, right down the flight deck. They couldn't use the flight deck at all. It's not strong enough to actually take in a bird that has a full complement of arms on it. It would actually just drop through the deck. Not very good for the pilot or anybody else when you got live munitions on board. Fun. And the thing is that the catapults they use, they tried to use electromagnetics and they fail so bad. But the thing is, you can have the best. You can have our electromagnetic catapults. It wouldn't matter. Their aircraft have so little thrust, they can't get off the fucking deck with more than 2 freaking sidewinders attached to it. If that thing was fully loaded, the thing, even though it goes up a ski ramp, because they have both, it doesn't have enough force to stay up. It would go like this, and then it would go down, and it would just splash. And it's a quick way to say splash 1, splash 2, because they don't have the force. The J20, the J35, or sorry, the J. Yeah, it is the 35, and you got the J57, or no, Su-57. Those things have intercourse with a vacuum because they fucking suck. Okay, the 57 is just a glorified bomber. The stealth capabilities are almost nothing. I mean, it's terrible. And yet they're still talking all sorts of crap. Okay, I'm getting into politics. I shouldn't get into politics. Guys, I have been talking here for a good hour and almost 40 minutes. I appreciate you guys being with me, but I'm going to call it for tonight. Safety brief. If you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. And those of you going back from work, if you feel too tired, please do me a favor. Pull over, either get a coffee or get a nap. It ain't worth it, folks. I unfortunately know a few people that went off the road because of that. And it's just, it ain't worth it. I want you all back here next week, 18:30 Eastern Standard Time, because you know what? You guys are awesome. You guys make this channel happen. It ain't just me. And good night, everybody. This is Syntext ejecting.